trillion that we've spent in the last 20 years on militarization at home and abroad. And so we now have, when I go to these things, since the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan, I hear the same things that we've been saying for the last 20 years. I hear people in the housing movement say, if they had $300 million a day to spend in Afghanistan, they have enough money to give everybody a house that deserves and needs a roof over their head. And I see people in the student debt movement saying, if they have $300 million a day to spend in that war and that fiasco in Afghanistan, they have enough money for free college education for everyone in this country. And on and on. People are ready to hear that message. And we have a new coalition called Cut the Pentagon Budget. It's got its own website, cutthepentagon.org. Please visit it. And we are having actions every single day. Our opening action was outside the White House, where we baked a huge Pentagon cake, and we cut it up, and we ate the Pentagon. So that's what we do. We have to cut up this monster, we have to divide it up, and we have to get people in this movement with us to understand the only way we will have a decent country that funds the needs of the people and the needs of this planet for survival is if we cut the damn Pentagon. Thank you.
And we've got to do the things that Code Pink is doing, which is about blowing our whistles, speaking out, yelling out, fighting, intruding, being objectionable to the system, to build movement against militarism, against war, and most importantly, in order to do that, we've got to immerse ourselves amongst the masses. It ain't about social media creating revolutions. That just tells us what coordinates to be at. We got to embed ourselves and do a hell of a lot more work in our communities around housing, around immigration, around the issue of homelessness, around the cutoff of federal benefits that are leaving people destitute in a state of pandemic. All of that are our chairs. And we've got to dismantle the caging of individuals. All of those things need to be connected. We've got to get out of our silos. But most importantly, we've got to build from a moment to a movement. And we've got to do that by building real organization within the neighborhoods, within the communities and workplaces we live. Damn it, don't rely on social media. A Zoom conference is not the revolution. And you're not going to involve the masses through Zoom because they don't even know the coordinates for it. So please, do what groups like Brooklyn for Peace are doing, which is building in their local areas, and what all of you do, and the kind of work that Medea is doing to build across the country to connect us all. One of the most significant struggles that this country has the greatest responsibility for destroying the self-determination of a valiant, remarkable people. And just like we were built on settler colonialism, so was Israel. And now we need to bring up our great friend Daniel Tehan. He is substituting, in a manner of speaking, for a great friend of ours and a great heroine of all things progressive and of the Palestinian people, and that is Lamise Deek. We send her all of our healing blessings and all of our support, and we're going to start by free Palestine. 1, 2, 3. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Judith, give us the next chant.
Not another nickel! Not another dime! No more money for Israel's crime!
Not another nickel! Not another dime! Not another penny for Israel's crime! not another nickel, not another dime, not another penny for Israel's crime. Daniel, thank you for speaking. Daniel, tell us about the struggle for a free Palestine.
Well, thank you so much, Mimi, and thank you to everyone for being here. I'm really honored to be on the same stage as so many incredible speakers. I'm pinch hitting, so to speak, so forgive me, I don't have prepared remarks. My name is Daniel Tehan. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a volunteer member of Al-Alda, New York, which is the Palestinian Right to Return Coalition. Thank you. So I am not Palestinian, but I stand with the Palestinian people. I've been to Palestine, and I know and care deeply about many, many Palestinians, both in Palestine and here in New York, who continue to struggle. And there's no better person to hear about the Palestinian struggle from than actual Palestinians. So I'm going to keep my remarks very brief and just introduce Al-Alda, since Lamis couldn't be here. Al-Alda is the Palestinian Right to Return Coalition. It advocates for the right of Palestinian refugees across the world, millions of people, to return to their homelands in Palestine. Al-Alda New York is engaged in several, I would say, very important campaigns to draw attention to various forms of ongoing settler colonialism in Palestine that is also funded here, right? And so we're talking about the interconnectedness of these struggles. I just want to highlight that this Friday, 2 days ago, there was a protest that was really designed to bring together the interconnectedness of this struggle, and in particular, drawing attention to the recent liberation of 6 Palestinian prisoners from military detention in Palestine. Now, of course, many of them have been recaptured at this point, but the protest on Friday did, in my opinion, an incredible job pointing out the continuities between the Attica prison uprising in 1971, 50 years ago this month, and the ongoing liberation struggles, both internationally in Palestine and also here in New York, in the US, in the Deep South, where incarcerated organizers are continuing to struggle. Black incarcerated organizers are continuing to struggle to liberate themselves from various forms of bondage in settler colonies right here and settler colonies in Palestine. And so I just want to also mention a couple of campaigns that are ongoing because they're incredibly important and people can get involved. So one is that last month, Al-Alda was part of an action that was part of the campaign to defund hate. And again, when we talk about the interconnectedness of the struggles, it is also a recognition of the interconnectedness of the forms of repression, right? And so in the West Bank, many people probably saw in May, in places like Silwan, in places like Beit Jarrah, in other places in the West Bank where Zionist occupation is continuing to settle people on displaced and on occupied territory, which is a war crime. Those forms of settler colonialism are being funded here in New York. And it's important for people to understand that there are organizations like the Central Fund of Israel, like Ataret Kohanim, that use US nonprofit tax exemption status to raise money in the US to pay for war crimes, UN designated war crimes in the occupied West Bank, which is the forcible eviction of people from occupied territory and the resettlement of settlers in those same territories. And so the campaign to defund hate is ongoing. It is calling on US officials, including New York officials like Letitia James, to revoke the nonprofit tax-exempt status of groups like the Central Fund of Israel, which are operating right here out of New York City. And so I would just encourage people to look up the campaign to defund hate, to look up Al-Alda New York, to look up Within Our Lifetimes, and to get involved with the movement to defund hate, which is being funded here in our city. And I think I'll probably leave it from there. Like I said, I apologize, I was not prepared to speak, but I thank everyone for being here and for their...
Chant though before you go.
Sure, yeah, we can do the one that I know everybody knows, which is free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine,
Free Palestine!
Al-Alda is a magnificent organization. Support them in every way we can, because not another nickel, not another dime, not another penny for Israel's crimes, not another... I need the raging grannies for this money. Okay, and one of the things we have not mentioned today, and I just want to shout out to Leonard Peltier, one of our magnificent indigenous, one of our political prisoners, brick by brick, wall by wall. We're going to free them all. Not just Mumia, all our political prisoners. So Leonard Peltier, right? We're going to work. The brother is in desperate physical straits. He's being transferred even further away from his community and his people and decent health care. So please remember Leonard Peltier, along with all the others that are behind the walls, which we're going to tear down those those walls of Jericho. So I want to bring on another wonderful poet who is, he's going to talk a little bit about Palestine, but it is Farid Bitar, who is in the house with us, and we thank him for his work and his creative contribution to the revolutionary struggle. And then we're going to get ready for Joel Landry.
I can use it?
Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am a product of war. 3 wars to be exact. I've been speaking for about 40 years. I'm never gonna stop talking until I'm dead. I started talking in my subliminal in 1967 when the war came walking to me. Ba'uha. Conspiracy, confliction, deterioration, annihilation, refugees in the millions. Ba'uha. I stand at the balcony. I ask my mother, what is the man doing in my house? Not moving. Is he sleeping? Mother had none of the answers. Mother, I asked, what is the man doing at the corner with his eyes wide open? Next day came, and the day after and after. Mother, I asked, why is the man not closing his eyelids? Is he sleeping? Mother had none of the answers. I stepped onto the bus. Bus driver asked me, what is that sneaker you're wearing? And why is it so big on your head? I replied, it's my favorite sneaker in the whole wide world. All blue star sneaker. My older brother sneaker, Mahmoud. Bus driver burst out, crying and laughing at the same time. I stated, why do you cry? It's only my blue star sneaker. Ba'uha, 1967. 4 days later, we got to Jerusalem. And I'm talking about Jericho, oldest city in the world. 4 dead members of my family. 17 napalm bombs dropped. 16 family members burned to the ground. 4 dead. Grandma, no head. I'm a product of war. I'm in New York, proud. Not really. When they ask me, are you American? I say, God bless America. I meant, God fuck America. What I mean is, nobody wants me here. I don't care if I speak American accent, British accent. Nobody wants me here. 42 years down. My neighbors called the police on me. Terrorist, he is. He kills people. I am a poet. I don't think so. I speak the truth. visitor unwanted, the rat. My cousin came knocking and knocking insistently. I let him in to get rid of his misery. He never left. I asked him to leave. He changed the locks and ate the cheese and left me outside of the door, knocking and knocking and knocking. I said, let me in. I have the key. I have the key. So the 5 million have a key. That right of return, they coined it? I don't think so. I own it. 5 generations I own it. 5 million have the key to the key and the door. What knocking on the door? Please leave. I did you a favor. Please leave. That day never came. And the day after, and after, that day never came. 73 years knocking on the door. And my family of 5 million knocking on the fucking door. Let me in. I have the deed. They say, we're not done yet. Let's sit and strike a peace treaty. I said, what bullshit is that? What are you talking about? You're not done yet? They said, no, we're done. Well, we're not done yet. Knocking on the door. Unwanted rat. 2021. Unwanted rat. I'm going to read you a Screaming Olives. I speak the truth. I believe I told Danielle that. I tell the world that. I don't need paper. I do. I'm a poet. I don't think so. The trees are screaming. Screaming olives. I wear on my hat a beret that's worn by the police of the PA in the West Bank and Gaza. I bought my beret in the Gaza Strip in 2009-10 when 2,100 people perished, and they're not collateral damage. Screaming olives. Beyond the evergreen, the settler is very mean. The olive tree glimpsed the oblivious, carrying a can of petrol and an M16 hanging on his shoulder. The branches started screaming. The branches started screaming. The branches. Then the olives joined in like a chorus in a symphony. Call our owners. Call our owners. But no one comes. I wonder why. Is it because the IDF soldiers are sniping farmers in the harvest? Is it because the IDF soldiers are sniping farmers? Oh, I forgot, I said that. The tree started yelling at the man, get out of my existence. Every time you come, I know I'm gone. Stop killing my babies. Stop suffocating my insides. Stop. Just simply stop your savageness. Emmett Till lynched in 55. Way down South America, America South, not South America, America South, below Selma, Alabama. Ali on the Grill, the settler Taunton, 2015. In Duma, West Bank, in Duma, West Bank, Mississippi. Still, I want you to pray for all the children. I am here to talk about the 5 million in exile. I am one of them, but the rest of my family is 5 million. Don't forget, and don't let the US forget, and don't let everybody forget. And I'm out of time. Pray for Palestine, pray for Afghanistan, pray for Iraq, and pray for the children.
Fareed, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to, and I hope people are going to hang out. Hey, look, you know, it's cool now. We've got water. The only thing that we're missing is the 6-course dinner, which we should have had, but we're going to have revolutionary food next time. But I wanted to bring on Jacqueline Wade. Jacqueline Wade is a young artist, and Jacqueline Wade is the originator and constructor of this absolutely magnificent piece of work of Mumia Abu Jamal. And I want her to talk a little bit about this because it's one of the ways of involving community and building organization and using art to build our movements. So Jacqueline Wade, thank you. By the way, this was supposed to be, you know, Mumia was supposed to be marching in the Harlem Day Parade, which is taking place today. However, we got Mumia. So Jacqueline Wade, tell us a little bit about this magnificent work and give just due to all the people, including her sisters and brother there, who should be, well, they're holding up Mumia's arm, but we want to acknowledge them, or maybe Jacqueline will, but we want to honor her for her work, and Jacqueline Wade for your phenomenal tribute and art piece to revolution, to political prisoners, to Mumia Abu Jamal.
Thank you. I'm usually a lot shy, and I don't like to always talk about what I do. I just like to do. And I want to first pay thank you to these lovely young assistants that I have here. One is Mimi and Millie. I hope I'm saying it correct. One is from Germany. She just arrived, and the other one is local here. I also want to give thanks to Judith Ackerman. Where are you, Judith? Give her a round of applause. And Anita, who's sitting right in front of us, who helped out also. So let me tell you about how this puppet came about. I was not what you would call a person who went to a lot of marches, but I tended to go to Mumia marches because I'm originally from Philadelphia, so I would catch the bus. It was a bus that I think Suzanne would organize, and I thought, these are really interesting, curious people. Hey, Lupe. Okay. Interesting, curious people. And what I noticed was that these were, you know, very passionate marches, but like, why don't they have a puppet? Why don't they have something that catches people's attention, you know? Like, not everybody's into marches, okay? So it came to me, brainstorm. I said, you know what, let me make a giant Mumia puppet. I spoke to the group in Philadelphia. I spoke to Pam Africa about it. That was the first time I saw her really smile. And she said, yes! She got like a child. She was so happy. And I said, okay, I gotta make this puppet.
Let me interrupt you 1 minute. Our sister Judith Ackerman needs somebody who physically, well, she says a man, I won't, but somebody who can help hold up Mumia. I'm sorry.
Okay. So what happened was, after I got the okay from Philadelphia, what I knew is that I have a what you call a artist studio, which is run by Building Stories. They're puppeteers. I'm puppeteer. I'm with Women of Color Productions, and I've been working on my thesis. This is my second master's at Hunter, and I'm in integrated media. So I knew how to kind of make a big puppet. I know how to make small puppets and all kinds of things like that. But I said, you know what, let's do this. I knew I wanted him at least 18 feet. I wanted you to be able to see him a mile away. I wanted the meanest, maddest policeman to see him and smile. You know, I wanted the judges to smile. I wanted children to smile, because this is love. I don't care if you think he's guilty or innocent. He is love. You have to understand that. Okay? And he's like your brother, my father. You have to understand that. And if we can begin to break those barriers, because I know you can break many barriers with art. That's why I made the puppet. Was it easy? No, it wasn't easy. But I struggled through it. I had some people come in and help me, and it got built. We took it, July 3rd was its inception. We did a few more marches. We were, bringing down the walls was the last thing we did. We were supposed to be up in Harlem today, but I don't know. We ended up here. So we're blessed. I send my love to Harlem. Please don't hate us, okay? So I say this, thank you for giving me an opportunity to bring this here. We love you. Mumia loves you. Spirits are alive. This is metaphysical. So when you see something big like this, just like you see a Catholic statue, this is power. You have to understand that. Power. Okay?
And then we're going to say, brick by brick, wall by wall, we're going to free Mumia Abu Jamal. Brick by brick, wall by wall, we're going to free Gloria Perez. Jacqueline Wade.
Love you.
Hey, that's one of the most beautiful presentations all day. The artists, all power to the artists, really. All power to the spirit of Mumia through this magnificent piece. And another artist who's been out there for so many years. How many songs have you written, Joel?
That's a brain cell question.
Well, Joel's definitely, I don't even know how many, but I know he's always there, picking up, perking up the movement with his great music. Joel Landy, thank you for blessing us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
I want to acknowledge someone who's been blessing us all day, and that's Larry. He's been wiping the microphones down so we can all take our masks off.
So he can't talk to you right now.
Thank you. He's also doing sound for everybody. I also want to acknowledge those people who have been here with video cameras. I've been hosting Songs of Freedom Television since 1996. And we do this work. We record this and we put it on the internet and we put it on public access television. Singfreedom.org, you'll find it. The other acknowledgement I want to make before I get started is Joe Friendly. He has been at this. He's everywhere. He's always there. And, you know, he's not standing out here with a guitar. He's not making a lot of noise as a speaker, but he's behind the scenes providing everybody else with the ability to see the work that we're doing. So thank you, Joe. Love you, man. Well, okay, acknowledgement's done. I was given a bumper sticker a few years ago by my friend David Rovix. And the bumper sticker says, "I'm a better anarchist than you." Now, I don't consider myself an anarchist. That's a label. But it did inspire this, and it made me think about these things. And it's got a chorus. The chorus goes, governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Three things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. What? Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Well, I've never been an anarchist, but one once said to me, to know the truth, all you must do is look at history. All governments are similar. Three basic rules apply. Governments lie and governments kill and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Three things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. Governments lie and governments kill and governments die. Well, there's never been an empire that didn't turn to dust, or tell the truth to everyone, or learn to earn your trust, or coexist with neighbors, or tell their people why. Governments lie and governments kill and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Three things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. Governments lie and governments kill and governments die. Well, they'll lie to keep you quiet, then they'll lie to make you loud. They'll lie to take your money and then tell you to be proud. They will lie with social media and the leaders they can buy. Governments lie and governments kill and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Three things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. They will send you to kill people. Be a patriot today. Overseas and in your cities, in whatever role you play. Mythology of nation states, can you hear their battle cry? Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Now, there's a conversation that nobody wants to hear. All nation states must end someday, as sure as they appear. But we never talk about it. Hey, maybe that's the reason why. Governments lie and governments kill and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Three things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. Governments lie and governments kill and governments die. Sing! Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Three things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. Governments lie and governments kill. Lie and governments kill and governments lie and governments kill and governments die.
Joel Landy, for all the years of work.
SingFreedom.org. SingFreedom.org.
Say that again, Joel.
SingFreedom.org. Coming to a computer near you.
Thank you. We have a brother. You know, I'm being yelled at. I want to be honest. I like transparency. Say, oh my God, you're letting people take too long. People are gonna get restless. I don't care, because the people that are taking time are all part of our movement builders, and they deserve to be respected and honored for their time and commitment. So one of the people who was not even scheduled to speak, but I don't care, is we have a brother here who's a survivor of solitary confinement. And I want you to hear from somebody who has lived the experience, become a true revolutionary to eliminate solitary confinement and the stopping of caging of people. So we're going to hear, even though I'm not supposed to build in additional speakers, can I do that?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to hear from Roger Clark now, a survivor of solitary, and thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having me. I'm from the Campaign for Alternative to Isolated Confinement, and I'm here to speak about the deplorable condition on Rikers Island. For the past 9 months, there's been 10 people who died unnecessarily, and we need to change that. Even though we passed solitary confinement this past April, the Rikers Island took a position to change solitary to keep solitary confinement, but give it another name. You have individuals who are locked into the shower in feces and urine, and the condition is unimaginable. It is completely inhumane. So we need to bring attention to this and to let the mayor know, because we know that if his son Dante would have been in there, it would have been hell to pay if his son, Lord forbid, would have died in there. We don't want nobody to die unnecessarily. Most of these individuals are innocent until proven guilty. So we need to bring it to him to let him know that things needs to change now. It is a 5-alarm fire, and ain't nobody answering the call. So yeah, I really don't have a lot of time. I'm really pressed in time because, like the lady stated, that I was an add-on, so I'm going to leave it at that. But we did pass solitary confinement statewide, you know. So now, from now on, people won't be placed in solitary confinement for months and years and decades like they do now. So that's a good thing. We're going to be working to make sure that it is implemented in a fair way. Thank you and have a good day.
Wait a minute, Roger. Are we going to close Rikers Island?
Yes, we are going to close Rikers Island for once and for all, because that's an inhumane place to be in. You know, Rikers Island needs to close, so we need to close it now. Yeah.
Roger Clark, is there any way that we can get in touch with you and find out more about the efforts to close Rikers Island?
Yes, you could contact us at nycaic.org and
Got to do that one more time.
yeah, New York CAIC.org. That's New York Campaign for Alternative to Isolated Confinement, that organization. And if you really want to be expedited, I'll be more than happy to give out my phone number as well.
Roger Clark, right? This is what our movement's about. This is about organizing. This is about building. I'm so badly behaved. All right. And Larry, thank you for all day. And I've been terrible about switching from mic to mic. And I also want to call a shout out to 10 years since one of the most important worldwide movements, and its legacy has continued in so many ways. Occupy. Yes. Damn the 99%. We still uphold, and we will occupy state power. So kudos to the Occupy movement, which continues in many different ways and different forms. So now I want to bring on Lorcan Otway. What do I say? You know, for those of you who don't know, how do you not know the St. Mark's Theater, which has been there for how many years? 57 years. There is never a meaningful theatrical or political event that has not taken place in the People's Cultural Institution, St. Mark's. And Brother Lorcan, thank you for all that you've done. And he was also responsible for hosting, when nobody else wanted us, all the events around Sister Lynn Stewart. So thank you for lending art and an art institution and keeping it going for the people.
Being that I was introduced in this way, I will say a word or two about Theater 80 before I speak about my mother's people. We are in the fight for our lives against crisis profiteers. And I should say, and I say this not because I expect pro bono help. I have worked for the American Indian and Romani community as a lawyer for the past over 20 years and never taken a dime for my work. We cannot get lawyers to save Theater 80. Now, we're not asking for pro bono, we're asking for contingency. We're asking for some help to get through being closed for a year and a half, being told we cannot do our business, but others could do the business of buying our debt and increasing our loan to 24%. And now, to get out of this problem, a lender has literally put a gun to our head and is forcing us to sign a loan that if we get a building violation goes up to 56%. If I drop dead, my wife inherits the loan $10 million at 56%. So if you know anyone out there who's a lawyer who cares that, for example, we brought in the Negro Ensemble Company for free when the not-for-profit world turned their back on them, that we had the Patti Smith concert when our neighbor's building blew up. We're kind of known as being the go-to place when everybody else turns their back on you. Which brings me to the next topic, Emanushin. My mother's people come from Eastern Europe. We're Romani gypsies. And we are always the also-rans. We're at the end of the list usually, that in the Purimos, the Holocaust, Jews were killed, trade unionists, socialists, gay people, and at the very end of the list, gypsies were also killed. Frankly, I think if Hitler only killed us, he would have been a hero. A third of us were killed, and for us, the Holocaust didn't end in 1945. Just a couple of months ago in the Czech Republic, where the average sentence for killing a Romani person is a few months in jail for disruptive behavior, if you're sentenced at all, the police held down a Romani man kneeling on his neck in a parody of what happened to George Floyd, feeling his pulse until he was dead. Hundreds of thousands of us were driven out of Bulgaria, and now the properties that were stolen are being sold to American corporations, and of course the people who, as we always have been moved on, are receiving nothing but refugee camps in other countries. Here in the United States, in that building right over there, are people who are what we call in the realm, who are a self-governing group similar to American Indians, who, by the way, have been in this country before the Constitution, and Franklin Roosevelt recognized should have many of the same rights as American Indians, because we were a pre-constitutional sovereign here and have been self-governing before 1792. In that building, almost every day you have Romani people brought up on pretextual charges by the police who had what they called the gypsy squads. Now, after Socialist Workers' Party versus the Attorney General made it unconstitutional to have the red squads, they privatized the policing of our community in the same way COINTELPRO privatized the political policing. They created an organization called the National Association of Bunco Investigators that create manuals where they photograph and catalog Romani people in this country. And in order to get information, they arrest young people and they try to get them to identify photographs. Recently, some of you might remember a case that I was involved in here where a judge would not accept bail for an innocent fellow. We had an innocent defense and in fact proof on film he did not do what he was accused of. They said a $60,000 bail. He was in Rikers Island for almost an entire year under the theory that everything we put up for bail must be stolen because he's Romani. They held a surety hearing, which they usually do in drug cases, and the idea is that Romani people have to prove that every dime that we have has not been stolen, because after all, in the eyes of the law, we are not a nomadic nation, we are a criminal underclass. Anyway, basically, there's little more to say other than we are the hidden Americans and the forgotten cause worldwide. So, anais tuka, bachtais astimos.
For the Romani, thank you. For the St. Mark's Theater that is hosted, how many was it? 57 years. Which mic am I supposed to go on this? Okay, I'm trying to be better behaved. And we have a person there who's shown up and says she's just a work of art. Okay, we'll find out more about that. But I want to bring on now, we have some more dancers. And this time we are going to experience flamenco. And we have great sister Gloria Perez. And Jane, I did not know that you moved from Filipino to, but she said, I've been a dancer forever. So we bring on now our flamenco dancer and my sister, Ms. Perez. Welcome. Oh, I was looking for him. He was right behind me. And I have to say that David Barish has been, through his family, etc., a friend of WBAI, and I'm going to promote WBAI because with all of its sports, whether it gets its premiums to folks on time or not, please, it's still an instrument against war and against poverty and against racism and patriarchy. So please support the People's Radio Station, WBAI 99.5 FM. Please, please, it will not exist without you. And for goodness sakes, if you are a subscriber, you make sure you vote, because trust me, there are people howling at our doors to take us over for a neoliberal agenda and to take us over and destroy us, because they understand the value of this station. So I would be remiss if I didn't say support the People's Radio Station for truth and justice, and better yet, work with it to make it even better and more representative of the movement. So with that, our great friends and a little flamenco.
Are we ready?
Did we meet last autumn? Or was it the year before? You were traveling with your boyfriend, and we were on the way to Rome. Won't you join me? Sit for a little while. I know this little place. where the flamenco's fine. It's out of town towards Valencia, owned by these gypsy friends of mine. Won't you join me? Let me be your guide. Let me be your guide. We can walk the beach, watch the sunset on the turquoise sea. Set your heart free and take my hand in yours and dance with me. Dance with me. And let me be your guide. We can walk the beach, watch the sunset on the turquoise sea. Set your heart free and take my hand in yours and walk with me. Dance with me. And let me be your guide. Let me be your guide. I wanna be your guide. Let me be your guide. I wanna be your guide. Let me be your guide. I wanna be your guide. I wanna be your guide. Jane Ordain, Gloria Perez, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, David Barrett. And where's my friend Lupe?
Right here.
Yeah, Lupe, come here.
But my ride is coming.
Sorry. Lupe, you dropped something. I don't know if that's important. I don't know how many people know how long Lupe's been around.
A long time.
Yeah, that's
Lupe is my idea of troublemaker. She rails against the system. She is unadulterated in her sensitivities and her disdain for the bourgeois state, and she's gonna give us a poetic offering. Dear, dear, wonderful Sister Lupe.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. There's Ellen. Ellen, please raise your hand. She's a singer. I'd like everybody to sing an Om with me right now, so raise your hands like that. And where's my brother friend? He's supposed to tell me what's this all about. He's hiding from me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh. You can keep your hands up if you want, shake around if you want, do whatever you want, because I have this many minutes and I must go on. But you can do it. Okay, the brother who's hiding from me. Why are we here today, everybody? Power to the people. That's pretty good. Let's hear that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, because we got to be woke up. Now turn to one person you don't know. Power to the people. Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Okay, we're here. And if you're under 20 or you think that you're under 20, you feel that vibe. Okay, you got to tell 3 under 20 people that you know, okay, people, because that's the next generation. Where's the sister? Could you raise your hand, Yvonne, please? We knew each other from when we were 20, so we can stay in a movement, like Mimi said. A lot of people talk today about the outside world. I'd like you to just put your hand on your belly, Reiki, one hand on the chest. That's the inside world. So if you feel safe, I know where we are, but you could look down. Just close your eyes. And if you want to listen to the whole piece with your eyes closed, you can. Because this is about taking responsibility inside me for having chosen, I believe spiritually, a white mother in white supremacist America. Oh my God.
Thank you, I'm 30. Thank you. In between generations. Yeah. Apologize.
He said he's 30. Anybody been through the 30s? Okay, so they know. You could talk to them about what that generation might be for you.
Okay,
it's called Mama. Can we just hear the title, please?
Mama. Mama.
I love it. It's very good. Okay. So if you're live streaming this now, you need to be moving around, not sitting still, you know, getting in. I wrote this because my friend Chud in California, who I hadn't seen her poetry for 30 years, came back to The Pad is Back, pmrbio.wordpress.com. And she said, I'm white-bodied, and we're going to talk about this stuff through writing. Okay, Lupe? I said, oh my God, this girl going to move me. And I cried and wrote this. Mama stayed away as a white person from her soul, her feelings. My mama came to see me in plays more than a stone-like black-bodied dad did. In 1971, 72, 74, Mama could not open her heart door. Oh, dear, near, anti-racist-alliance.com, white body friend, white mama would not choose to go inside, actually touch deep, hurting capitalism inside, refused to do a how, refused to do a how, refused. Mama only stood up with words. Palabras son buenas. Y, oh dear, oh words, Mama chose to avoid instead of confronting inside how she permitted. Do you permit? She permitted. Do you permit? Schools to win her over to self-denial. Oh my God. Oh my goddess. Oh my goddess, Mama stood at Hunter's College City, New York, hunted through bookshelves without allowing her heart to hunt for her own deep hurts as a girl under a Russian fill, a pill, a penis-carrying pill with a shrill, brittle dad face, constantly bombarding Mama's peasant mom from a nation of Polish rigid males who were not Jews, kings like the Tsarinas of Russia. My dear Ma, I tried so hard, begged Ma to at last open her heart to my black and brown and white experience. And my mama refused her own flesh pain. Dear new white body friend, chosen sister, Chud, yeah, like some mommies of color, my white Jewish mama refused me, did nothing to soften the crusted vehicle herself had become by 1971 under capitalism USA style. Wars then, wars now. Mama born into war zone of 1918. What crap, these corporate lies of elite World War I, how can they mislabel? No, colonization again, 3,000. Colonized people again. War number 1, no. Colonize, break up Africa, colonize even more, give to USA, nice resource part of the Caribbean's true world domination till China 1949, Asia said, we rising, and freeing ourselves from non-Asians. Part two. Part two, can I hear part two?
Part two.
Free Asians, free Asian eyes in Peking. Billions of Chinese speakers. Who? What? They freed themselves from that system run by elite thieves, Brit-skinned cannibals, white cannibals, who stole every nook and cranny. Cannibals, who later joined the French fascist cannibals, stealing Vietnamese rubber for those black chauffeur-driven Bentons with right side driving Brit, bright cracker, right side doors wide. I, my new chosen sister, how deep can we dig? Will it ever release? Your raw, my raw, our raw self-hatred of these white-skinned carrying mamas still allowing their white owner granddads to dominate. Mama Earth. To dominate, to dominate, to dominate. Don't tell me, Miss Elite Chelsea Clinton, that you care. Stand up to Billy Boy. When are white-skinned, white-bodied women going to become black-brained groups of troops, Air Force for Mama Ocean, sacred carriers of respect, blackness, and joy. Joy! Release white boys! Release white boys! Release white women's dependence on boys. White son, white dad, white nephew, white uncle, white brother's grandson, and ex-husband. Oh, somebody read from that book, Right to Left. Lift up Marilyn S. Buck. Marilyn S. Buck?
Yes.
Marilyn S. Buck?
Marilyn S. Buck.
Lift her up because she was black Asada's white getaway driving woman, a modern John Brown. And P.S., there will be life, y'all, I believe, after the suicidal white elite women and their families kill if we allow them with their male partners, our moms, our planet, our Mama Earth, our Madre Tierra. Madre Tierra. Reborn through these white women, and they have a responsibility to us, and we to our chosen mama, Madre de la Tierra.
Well, I've been knowing this sister for
First grade.
She kicks it out of the ballpark, always. Hey, the poets we've had today, Nzinga, Lupe, so many. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Now, I wanna, Nick has been sitting here. Nick is, Moturn is a co-chair of this event. But he also is a carpenter, among other things, and he built that sinister, horrible, merciless model of a killer drone.
That's right.
And I mean, it's really one of the most powerful demonstrations that I've seen. And I want to bring co-chair on and anti-war, anti-militarist activist. And there's somebody else who's had a few things to do over the years with anti-militarism, anti-imperialism, anti-war. Deborah Sweet, hey, my God, how dare they? We made a mistake. I apologize. We killed a family of 10. We have a child who's 3 years old. But we're apologizing. How do you apologize for U.S. imperialism and U.S. imperial and hegemonistic design? I know how you do it. You dismantle the war machine.
That's right.
You dismantle U.S. imperialism, which just means dismantle U.S. capitalism. Deborah Sweet, Nick, thank you for the for the work you do. I'm becoming a small bit incoherent, not like our wonderful poets here, but thank you for that incredible symbol. We're going to get rid of killer drones, right? We're going to get rid of
Killer drones.
We're going to get rid of
Killer drones.
We're going to stop U.S.
Imperialism. Terrorism.
Come on, Deborah, lead the chant.
We're going to stop U.S. imperialism.
Now, what kind of energy? We're going to stop U.S. imperialism. Deborah Sweet, Nick, take it.
The mic.
You know, we are glad to speak to the number of people who are still here, but we're both going to forego large parts of our speeches because people have things to do and places to be. We are glad to be with you.
Thank you.
If you want to know more about what I think is important, I'm going to give you 3 websites: worldcan'twait.net,
Yes.
refusefascism.org, and revcom.us. The reason that Nick and I are carrying this photo, which has been spoken to before today, is exactly because this is what this system does. And I want to ask, what kind of a system would do this to babies? What kind of a system did this to babies in Vietnam? What kind of a system did this to babies in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and Haiti and everywhere around the world you can think about right now, including in the United States of America, in Philadelphia in 1985. This is a system that has no future. This is a system that has to go. This is a system that can only be stopped by the courageous, united action of the people. We have to dismantle, disarm, and take apart this largest military in the world by the action of the people. That is what we're talking about, to prevent things like this. And if you think that we should accept the United States military saying, we made a mistake in this situation, you are very, very wrong. We cannot accept this as a mistake, and we cannot accept an apology. They have to back off on all aggression towards the people of Afghanistan, the Middle East, and the people of the world. They have to back off on their aggression to people here. And we together have to create a society where humanity is in our hearts. We can save the planet by that type of action. I want to give you Nick Modern.
Thank you, Deborah. I'm going to be very brief. I really appreciate what Deborah's talking about in terms of this system, and I'm very proud to be in front of this really fantastic puppet of Mumia Abu-Jamal, because every day of his life he's paying a price for speaking out about the criminality and military, I guess, overwhelming nature in police and in this country. There's a model over there also of a Reaper drone. The real one of these has a wingspan of 66 feet. The body is 36 feet long, and this is a model of the drone that killed these people in Kabul on August 29th. Under the wings are 4 Hellfire missiles that are in black. There are 2 500-pound bombs. These have operated in Afghanistan along with another drone over the last 20 years. These drones have killed over 10,000 people in Afghanistan, many more thousands terrorized. We're working right now to create an international treaty to ban weaponized drones, military and police drone surveillance. We need people in New York City to help lobby the United Nations. If there is anyone in this crowd who would be considering helping us to lobby the United Nations, I'm here as a recruiter for peace, not a recruiter for the military. I'm a recruiter for peace. I was in the Navy. I'm a very ignorant person, and I joined to get over my commitment. I went to Vietnam. I did not see combat there, but now I'm a recruiter for peace. So please join us at bankillerdrones.com. My website and my email I can give to you later. So thank you very much for listening. We need each other. We need each other. We need each other. We need each other. And we must remember that every moment. Thank you.
You have to keep we have more speakers. There is the dance party for those of you who want to just go with the vibes physically or just listen. Let it loose, be wild and crazy. But the effort to get Mumia down here was immense. So the one thing I've got to make sure that we all do, because we are workers, is make sure that we do not leave before we have an opportunity to help Jacqueline Wade and her crew take down Mumia, which was an enormous effort to get this stunning piece of revolutionary art down here. So folks are going to make sure that they help out with that, right? Yeah. That's what we do. That's what we do. I know Sarah's not going anywhere. All of the Sarahs that are here. Hey, Sarah. All right, so, well, right now we have a couple more speakers. I know you're shocked, but it just goes to show you how broad our movement is, how significant it is, and how many contribute.
The taxi workers are camping out by City Hall Park. They're organized.
Yeah, you'll give me, I know that, Sarah, not right this second, but I will. So what I'm being told, and I'm dutiful, and I know about it, the Taxi Workers Alliance, one of the great labor organizations, is camping out in response to damn Mayor de Blasio's cheap shit response to funding these workers who have lost their lives over these medallions, etc., and been undercut by Uber and Lyft and all those disgusting companies. Please, at some point after this, you might want to stop by our brother and sisters who are with the Taxi Workers Alliance, who are camping out by City Hall, and show your support and tell Dan de Blasio that the handful of chump change you gave them doesn't do anything. Their lives are on the line. We lost at least eight taxi workers who committed suicide as they watched their lives flit away from them. All their money, all their resources, all their energy. So please, we support the working class, we support our sisters and brothers. And I have to say, the Taxi Workers Alliance is one of the most progressive labor organizations in the city. Please make sure you stop by and say hello. But not before we dismantle, well, we never dismantle, but we put Mumia to rest. Now with that, I want to say that Jack Baldwin is, I don't know how long he's been working on himself, and he's a very modest, humble individual. But he has perhaps the most serious and immediate crisis of all today, and that is our planet. Our planet is under attack, and we have looked in the mirror, and who is the enemy? It is us. It is us. So Jack Baldwin,
with Extinction Rebellion. Do some rebelling now. Instruct, educate, agitate, and organize us.
I have 2 minutes here, so I'll try to make it brief. 2 days ago, outside Bank of America's headquarters on 6th Avenue, 6 women blocked the entrance. A 7th woman was lying from a hammock on a tripod outside their corporate headquarters with the police surrounding them. A little distance away from Grand Central Station, a boat was dropped outside the headquarters of JP Morgan Chase. The police totally surrounded the area, did not let anyone in, including myself, including the media, and they arrested everyone who was responsible for the boat drop. And down in Tribeca, there was a protest against Citibank with another tripod, people locked down to the tripod, another woman on a hammock, also protesting against Citibank, and the organization that carried out all these 3 protests simultaneously was Extinction Rebellion. You won't see it, thank you very much. You won't see it on the mainstream news, even though we sent out media advisories and press releases to everyone, because they don't think it's important. There was something at CBS that said that some environmentalists did something outside of Bank of America. They didn't mention us by name. They implied that it had something to do with the Occupy Wall Street anniversary. I don't know. But there is a conspiracy of silence around it in this country regarding the environment and regarding these enemies of really every class, every race, every class, which is the fossil fuel industries and the enablers of the fossil fuel industries, which are these banks that give literally hundreds of billions of dollars. Yes, you heard right. Hundreds of billions of dollars in loans and to these companies to destroy the planet, to do development in fossil fuels when there should not be 1 penny devoted to the development of fossil fuels. We should be dismantling the fossil fuel infrastructure all around the world. So Extinction Rebellion's 4 demands have everything to do with what we've been talking about today. We believe in tell the truth. That's a message to the media as well. The media should tell the truth about the emergency, that it is, in Bill McKibben's words, the biggest thing that's ever happened, the biggest emergency mankind has ever had. The second demand is act now, not by 2050. I call President Biden Mr. 2050 because he's obsessed with that date. Of course, we have to move faster than that. The third demand is beyond politics, which involves citizens' assemblies, which will put the decision to deal with climate change in communities and away from our corrupted representatives. The fourth thing is a just transition, which represents the rights of indigenous people and people of color of all kinds, and to make reparations for the environmental degradation that they have suffered, to redirect our treasury to compensate these people for the suffering they've already endured. So Extinction Rebellion recognizes the solidarity with all these movements, and I hope that today will be the beginning of a new chapter in intersectionality that will bring all these movements together. Thank you.
All right, so we have a very important announcement now, practical, logistical, and that is we have been holding a set of keys And rather just than turn them over to anybody, because I think they're keys to a Lamborghini, but they do have a particular coloration on one of the keys. So